Welcome back to my channel. I'm Shar. I picked out some supplies so that I wouldn't have to spend too much time picking out supplies. And I get right down to filling out the color on this snow day. I already got the line art done from last time. So we're gonna go right into some coloring. Let's see. Only the face is gonna have color on it. I'm using the alcohol Copic marker so that I can see the features without the features being covered up like acrylic. Now they're supposed to be able to layer it like most markers to make it look a little darker around the face under the hair. Thank you. Yeah, gotcha. That's soda. That's not lemon. I had it paused the whole time talking. Anyways, what I did was to try to get the appearance more like this one, but they're not covered in the blanket, so the hair and stuff didn't have as much shadow on it. So you see her with some of the sun is a little bit lighter up here and a little bit lighter here, and then it gets a little bit darker here. And here she has darker hair, so it's darker closer to her face. And now here where the sun is shining, it's a little bit lighter. Same with the shadow on her face. I started doing a light shadow of a light gray, but it's too light. I need a darker gray. I don't want it too silver either. I don't want it too dark. So I'm gonna pause it real quick and see if I can grab on. See if this is dark enough. Okay, that's better. For actual shadow, this would come from her. Since her body parts are more gathered toward her, you're not going to see the arms. Here, this shadow and the shadow snowball are going to melt together. And I got the shadow here, starting here from this snowball, because it's on the side away from the sun. All right. See a little bit of shadow here on the snow. You would also see some dark tree. Like some of these places where the snow has like little drifts, a little bit darker. And then use the lighter. Oh yeah, you also see that here because this is overlapping the little pathway. This little line would be dark. And use the lighter color. Well, the sun is it's not as dark, but but the sun is not directly on it. And leave a light color. Okay. The top of these would be a little bit of shadow, but not like as dark as the indentions in the snow, because it's on the side where the sun is not shining. Well, it's shining, but it's not hitting the spots very, very much. Just enough to put a little bit of a overcast. It's hard to do snow without putting a bunch of white everywhere. But also, some places the snow would look a little bluish. The sun is shining there, but it's not directly on it. Just enough to start like seeing into the ice or snow. On the top side of these little mounds of snow. I know what I forgot. I forgot the color of the tree. Pausing it. Okay. And the tree color. I put down the gray first. This would be the side of the tree trunk facing us, not necessarily facing the sun. Let's use the brown so I can see the lighter sections and know how much more gray to add. Places where it's gray, and I go over it with this brown, it gets a little darker. Try not to go over it too many times because the paper starts getting wet and so I get a little bit of the streaking appearance. Because this is not mixed media paper. This is just regular copy paper. Alright, I'm going to go over it again with the gray, darker areas. On the underside of the branches would be dark, and little alcoves between the branches would be darker. except for where the sun is shining this way. Okay. Try to smooth it out a bit. These are cheap markers, so they're definitely got a streak. Okay. Yeah. Work on the outfits. Now here I noticed that I have this arm too big, which makes it look off. The arm closer is supposed to look larger, and that one's supposed to look smaller in size. But she has this arm forward and this one back. So, color of the jacket. They have similar likes. It's one of the colors, I think. It's a really light color one. The uniform color. So then I could put and this is acrylic marker, so I have to be careful. But it's a light color, so it doesn't completely cover up the lines. But when I do the shadow, I'm going to use a darker pink. And her boots. See, even there, it started to cover up the lines because this is opaque acrylic. I remember that I was gonna put the lines in. Go ahead and do this one so it can start drying. Oh, this is too thick. Ooh, almost messed up on it. Thin lines. Because this is those jackets that have like that puffy look to it. I'm gonna attempt to put that puffy look in there. And the boots are similar. Oops, that's still wet. Gotta be careful because this acrylic would clog up the small, thin nibs on your pins. And I gotta put the line on the pants. Most pants have that line, and on the inside leg. Oops, supposed to stop right here. Yes, outside leg, inside leg. Stop about there. See if I can put the other. There, it's dry enough now. This case, make sure I don't have any paint in my pin nib. It's a very thin one, and this one would be hard to get to work again. But it's made for super fine detail, just like that. All right. I got the extra detail in there. The pants. I guess I'll have the pants the color of the lining trims. But I have to put the lighter color down first. And I have to put a shadow on the areas that are covered or not facing the sun. Trying to see which pink I want to use. That's good for this one. these lines. Well, actually, I'm not gonna do those lines. I will do the lines, but a different color. Make that a little bit bigger. Try not to cover the line. The sun is not shining because she's facing away from the sun. It's darker. Okay, I've got the shadow there. Oh yeah, the gloves. The gloves will just be this color because there's no light touching the gloves at all. Our friend has a similar color. Because I like similar colors. Just a little bit darker than the other one. In this case, it was easier to color it all one color and then draw the detail over the top because you see where it's getting covered up. Okay, this is the color of the jacket. The lights on this part. The gloves are going to be the same. So where the sun is not touching, boots. I get the darker color. We're almost done. Places where the sun is not touching. Okay, now put the trim color on it. We're gonna do silver and gold, or something looks silverish. Just trying to make that arm look a little bit bigger. Yeah, looks better. Trying not to make the line too thick because you wouldn't see it real good from this distance. Okay, got the lines. She's gonna have slightly different lines. Boots. That's a cool look. Make sure you do her shoulder. Okay. Now, the line, if these pants are that color, I'm just going to make the line black because I don't have a glittery, darker glittery color. But both of these might look brown. So I'm going to do a thin line line. So I'm assuming the line will look brown from this distance. Try to make it not make it too thick. All right. Luckily, that stuff dries fast, or I would have it all over my hand. The pants color, that was quicker. Oh yeah, I gotta do the eyes. Her eyes are kind of a darker green, and this is a lighter green. Make her have one hazel color eyes, and it might be hard to do, but I have a white marker if I mess up. You wouldn't really see their eyes from here at this distance. Not bad. You're not going to see highlights from here either at this distance. Oh, I got to add the icicles. First, let me finish the pants. It's so shiny, it's hard to see the detail on now. I'll have to redo the line. We get covered up a little bit. That's that. Icicles. I need the white now. I'll put up the other pen. Make sure I put the brush nib up. And the pink. Brush nib up. I didn't end up using this. I was planning to, but I didn't end up going around to get it in there. These don't really have a separate spot like the other markers where there's like a little cachet or niche for them to stick in. It's just all in the box and they're holding each other in by quantity. I'm trying to keep this video from being too long because I don't plan on doing too much editing. I'll talk through the whole thing. Now, in most cases, when it snowed, you're gonna get ice dripping at the bottom of the trees. Icicles. You know, I'm gonna have to outline these icicles. I can see it on the tree, but it would be like a bluish color or grayish color because it refracts light. So usually it's not gray like a shadow underneath icicles. It reflects light, so you usually get like a bluish tinge in the area where there's no sun shining, because these parts that hang down are going to send light up into the rest of the ice. And then you're going to have Now I can put the white in the middle. Doing acrylic over alcohol is real easy because alcohol is quick drying, but also because acrylic is so opaque, alcohol is more see-through. They rarely cover up each other. Oh, this just said acrylic rarely gets covered over. But I'm gonna have a little bit of a silver sheen where the light is shining into the icicle. There we go. See that glittery effect? That's what I'm looking for. And you see it down the tree. Silver over the white with icicle appearance. With a and where I am, we usually get like ice blown against the trunk of the trees. So I'm gonna put white down and then put the silver over it because it's sort of how it looks. You have the white coating of snow with ice crusted from the wind. Some of the snow melts and the wind hardens it again. Okay. Oh yeah, and snow would gather here in the parts of the tree that's like a little pit. To signify the snow. Oops, wrong side. The ice has a little blue tinge in it. Kind of give it an outline. There we go. Then add the shiny silver like you would see with the sun on the sun side that the sun shines. The snow would be a little bit more on the side here. Because sometimes it looks like half the tree has been snowed on one side, the way the wind blows. Try not to cover up the brown too much because that's sort of how it looks around the trunks of the trees. There we go. Try to get that some of that color off this white, just in case it didn't dry all the way when I started on it. And that concludes the light went off. That concludes this video. Thanks for watching. I'm glad I got to share a snow day coloring with you and the icicles. Stay tuned next week. I'm working on the presentation for the backstory for these two friend siblings, and you're gonna get to see part of the backstory, the beginning part where they're born and the differences in the parents, and then later on in the month you're gonna see how their lives are during the preschool time, and then where they meet after they begin school. That part might be in January because I like to write with detail in my stories and I don't want to rush it. So you might see the part where they meet up in January, but you're going to see the part where they're babies, how their births were prepared for, and how their parents respond to the babies according to personality and their parents' upbringing. It's been a pleasure sharing this with you. Until next time, bye bye.